Hello, I'm Matthew O'Kane from Comet Resources, and thank you for joining me here today. I'm going to talk through our projects in Australia and also our new project that we've just announced recently in Mexico. Just some company standard information here. This is available on the website for you to review later on, should you wish. So the first project I'll talk to you about today is the Barraba Copper Project in New South Wales. We acquired this project early in Q2 this year, and we're going through the process of permitting for exploration, which we aim to commence in Q3. The Barraba Copper Project contains the historic Gulf Creek copper mine, which mined copper in the late 1890s and the early 1900s. It mined copper grades of an average of 5%, but up to 10% in some areas of the deposit. The workings went down to 150 metres and along 300 metres of strike. It's open along strike and open at depth. There was also zinc with the copper. Zinc was grades of around about 1 to 1.5 times the copper grade, and precious metals were noted in the historical records, but not assayed at the time because in the concentrations obviously wouldn't have been payable back then, but they very may well, if they are present, form a credit for the project should it move forward now. Looking at the deposit itself here, using a plan view, you'll notice here these are the IP shells from an IP survey that was conducted in the 90s. And then we have stylised the lodes there. The coloured lines are the upper and lower boundaries of the known lodes at the moment. And you can see our initial drilling program there is planned to drill below the historical workings to intercept the lodes which we know were open at depth at the time that the mine ceased. The mine ceased due to flooding and bankruptcy of the company back then, so it was nothing to do with the fact that the material wasn't still present for the mine. In fact, right up to the end, it was mining at the consistent grades of around about 5% copper, but it flooded, bankrupted the company, and it hasn't been worked since then. So our aim is to go in, drill under those historical workings. We have very good information here. We have the historical workings in Vulcan, and we can therefore plan the drill holes to intercept those known parallel lodes. The 3 lodes, as I mentioned, they're ranging in width from 2 metres up to around about 10 metres over around about a 30-metre envelope. When we do the drilling, we'll also conduct downhole geophysics and also some surface geophysics, aiming to delineate any blind lodes or additional parallel lodes. You also notice in the top right of this diagram here some other IP anomalies that have been delineated. We will test some of those with some drilling in the initial drilling program as well, and also conduct downhole geophysics there too. So at the moment, we're just looking to get the permitting done there. We're actually having our geologist visit site next week to meet landowners and to confirm where we've planned the drill holes. We can get access for the drilling rigs. And once that's done, that's the final thing in terms of the drilling planning, and it's just up to permitting from the government at that stage. And as I said, we expect that'll all be done, and we'll be conducting the first physical exploration program in Q3. The next project I'll talk about is the Santa Teresa Gold Project. We announced this transaction in early June, and we're currently in due diligence. We gave an update to the market on that today. The due diligence is progressing on schedule, and we're hoping to complete the acquisition in Q3 this year. This project has an existing 43-101 resource of 64,000 ounces, but that is with a cap grade of 20 grams per tonne. There is a lot of drilling that was in excess of 20 grams per tonne that doesn't count towards the resource at this stage, including, hits 30 grams a tonne, 40 grams a tonne, in the hundreds, and up to, in fact, 958 grams per tonne over a metre. The deposit is a mesothermal lode gold deposit, so quartz vein, narrow vein. It has been mined historically to the north, on the licence just to the north of our licence. And I'll move to the next slide now to show this a little better. The bottom right-hand side there, the rectangle is the northeast section, or the northwest section, sorry, of our licence. And then you'll notice the dark lines just in the middle of the diagram there. They are the historical workings on the licence just to the north of ours. They produced 100 to 200,000 ounces of gold again in the early 1900s, and mining here ceased due to the Mexican Revolution at that stage, and mining has only been done in a very small scale on that license since then. We've also, with this acquisition, announced that there is a streaming facility available with it. So we've got a streaming facility for $6 million up to $20 million through Raptor Capital International. So the project is well financed. We're looking to, as I said, execute the final agreement in Q3 and move forward with initial exploration works in Q4 of 2020. And of course, in the COVID world, it may be obviously a little bit difficult for us to get over there, but we are in contact with mining service providers who will be able to conduct that work for us. I'll just now talk about our graphite project in Western Australia. That project is down near Esperance, actually closer to the town of Hopeton in WA. And we have a resource there of 15.6 million tonnes at 6% graphite, and a smaller high-grade envelope there of 2.6 million tonnes at 17.5% graphite. We've been undertaking metallurgy on material from a drilling program conducted in 2019, and we're just about finalised on the first stage of that. We'll have a release coming out to the market very shortly, and on the basis of that, we'll make the decisions on the next steps for the graphite project once we have that information. So just waiting to get that information completed. That's it from me at the moment. I would thank everybody for their time, and I hope you have a good conference.